Hidden between India and Tibet lies a secret kingdom that collects souls. Nepal guards treasures beyond its famous peaks, living goddesses in ancient palaces, valleys where rhinos roam free, and monasteries perched impossibly on cliff faces. This is where adventure meets enlightenment, where every temple holds mysteries and every trail leads to transformation. From Everest's shadow to the birthplace of Buddha, Nepal writes stories on hearts. Ready for the journey that changes everything? Subscribe and step into Nepal's embrace. One, Everest Base Camp. Most people think Everest Base Camp is about conquering a mountain. They're wrong. It's about the mountain conquering you. At 5,364 meters, Nepal's legendary base camp strips away pretense with every labored breath. While 4,000 trekkers annually attempt this pilgrimage, each discovers the same truth: you don't climb here to prove strength, but to find humility. The journey from Lukla's Cliff Edge Airport weaves through villages where prayer flags flutter like frozen conversations with the sky. Suspension bridges sway over glacial torrents, each crossing a small act of faith. Unlike gentler treks, this route thrusts you into the Himalayas' brutal heart, where oxygen thins and perspectives shift. Villages cling to mountainsides while peaks rise, not as scenic backdrops, but as living monuments to geology. The trail becomes meditation in motion, each step forward, a step inward. By the time you reach base camp, where glaciers groan and the horizon is rimmed with snow giants, the reward isn't only the view of Everest. Here, in air so thin it barely sustains life, you realize the mountain's greatest gift, teaching you how small and simultaneously infinite you really are. Two, Langtang Valley. Langtang Valley is a story of resilience. Once shattered by the 2015 earthquake, it has risen again, welcoming trekkers with the same quiet majesty it always held. Just hours from Nepal's chaotic capital, this is one of Nepal's most accessible Himalayan routes. This hidden sanctuary feels like stepping into ancient Tibet. The trail is a masterclass in contrasts. Rhododendron forests exploding with spring color give way to stone villages where prayer wheels spin in mountain wind. Here, yaks, mules, and horses carry the weight of daily life, and the air carries the scent of juniper and pine. From Kanjin village, climbers ascend to Kanjin Ri, or the mighty Cherko Ri, at over 5,000 meters, where a 360-degree panorama of the Langtang Himal unfolds in silence. It's not just the peaks, Langtang, Lirung, Dorje Lakpa, countless unnamed guardians, but the balance of culture and wilderness that stays with you. Trekking here means preparing for every season in a single day, sun, snow, and storm. But the reward is a valley that feels both untamed and deeply human, a place where mountains and memory walk together. Three, Manaslu. Compared to the thousands who summit Everest, Manaslu witnesses far fewer climbers, yet this forgotten giant might just be Nepal's most beautiful secret. The name means soul in Sanskrit, and walking here feels exactly like that, a journey into something deeper. This 8,163-meter mountain was forbidden territory until 2007, accessible only via ancient salt trading routes that once connected Nepal to Tibet. The Manaslu circuit isn't just a trek, it's time travel. Suspension bridges swing above roaring rivers, while rice terraces transform into alpine meadows. In villages like Samagaon, Tibetan prayer wheels spin in mountain winds, and monasteries cling to cliffsides like ancient secrets. Waterfalls plunge thousands of meters down sheer walls. Many stones carved with prayers line paths walked by traders for centuries. At Lark Pass, Manaslu and the Annapurnas create a horizon so dramatic it defies belief. For climbers, it's a brutal 65-day test. For trekkers, it's Nepal's best-kept secret, a place where mountains don't just challenge your legs, but transform your soul. In a world of overcrowded peaks, Manaslu remains beautifully authentically alone. 4. Mustang. Until 1992, Nepal was completely forbidden to outsiders. Tucked in Nepal's northwest at nearly 3,840 meters, this region is often called the Mini Tibet for its stark beauty and deep Tibetan roots. Lower Mustang hits you first barren cliffs and windswept trails that look more like Mars than Earth, yet every turn reveals raw Himalayan drama that stops you cold. But Upper Mustang, that's where the real magic lives. Hidden caves carved into ochre cliffs, ancient monasteries painted in faded murals, and villages where time lingers in the spin of prayer wheels. The land itself feels mythical, rugged, dry, yet alive with whispers of forgotten kingdoms. Trekkers come here not just for the trails, but for the silence that clings to the mountains, for the chance to walk through landscapes that seem unchanged for centuries. For backpackers and wanderers seeking something beyond the ordinary, Mustang offers exactly that, a rare blend of natural wilderness, cultural echoes, and a mystical solitude untouched by modern noise. 5. Bhaktapur. Imagine a city where smartphones coexist with 15th century temples, where people still worship at shrines older than Columbus's voyage to America. This is Bhaktapur, Nepal's time capsule that refuses to fully join the modern world. Once, a powerful kingdom controlling Tibet trade, routes Bhaktapur feels like walking through your history textbook. Durbar Square unfolds like an outdoor cathedral. Tiered pagodas pierce the sky beside a royal palace that once housed kings who ruled when London was still medieval. The 2015 earthquake left scars, yet restoration breathes life back into every carved wooden strut. In Taumadi Square, the towering Nyatapola Temple stands defiant, 5 tiers of intricate woodwork that have weathered centuries of monsoons and political upheaval. Here, the air smells of clay and incense. Potters spin wheels their great-grandfathers used, while temple bells mark prayers unchanged for generations. Unlike Kathmandu's honking chaos, Bhaktapur moves to the rhythm of Hindu festivals and craft traditions. Walking these narrow alleys means stepping between centuries, dodging motorbikes one moment, watching ancient rituals the next. It's Nepal as kings and merchants knew it, where beauty doesn't just survive, it thrives. Six. Boudhanath Stupa. Close your eyes in the heart of chaotic Kathmandu, and you might think you've been transported to ancient Tibet. Open them, and those giant painted eyes are staring right back at you. Welcome to Boudhanath, where those giant painted eyes have been watching over Kathmandu since the 6th century. This isn't just Nepal's largest stupa, it's a living meditation that draws you into its rhythm, whether you're Buddhist or not. The moment you join the clockwise flow around that massive white dome, something shifts. Prayer wheels spin under countless hands, mantras float on mountain air, and colorful flags flutter prayers toward the Himalayas. You're suddenly part of something that's been happening for 1400 years. Each tier represents an element: earth, water, fire, airspace, making the entire structure a 3D mandala of the universe. As butter lamps begin glowing at dusk, transforming white walls into golden warmth. During festivals like Losar, when thousands gather and the air shimmers with devotion, Boudhanath reveals its true nature, not just a monument, but a living prayer, where silence speaks louder than any city around it. 7. Pokhara. Everyone talks about Everest Base Camp. Smart travelers skip the crowds and discover what Pokhara has been quietly perfecting for centuries. This isn't your typical mountain town. Fiwa Lake lies so perfectly still, it steals reflections from the Annapurna Range, creating a world where snowy peaks exist both in sky and water. Lakeside cafes hum with soft music, while boats drift like lazy thoughts across liquid glass. But step away from this postcard serenity, and Pokhara reveals its wild side. Old temples hide in narrow alleys, their carved struts telling stories older than memory. Then there's the contradiction that defines this place. One moment you're sipping tea in contemplative silence, the next you're paragliding above emerald valleys or swinging through canyons with your heart in your throat. And then there are the quieter lakes like Begna's, where hills fold around still waters and time seems to hesitate. Pokhara doesn't make you choose between peace and thrill, it insists you have both, all while mountains keep their eternal vigil overhead. Eight. Swayambhunath. Perched on a hilltop west of Kathmandu, Swayambhunath watches over the valley like a timeless guardian. Known as the Monkey Temple, for the playful rhesus monkeys that dart through its courtyards, it is one of Nepal's oldest and most sacred shrines, revered by both Buddhists and Hindus. To reach it, you climb 365 stone steps, one for each days of the year, and with each step, the city below grows smaller, the air quieter, until the stupa's white dome and golden spire rise before you. Painted upon it are the all-seeing eyes, symbols of wisdom and compassion that seem to follow you wherever you stand. Around the stupa, prayer flags ripple in the wind, carrying mantras into the sky, while devotees spin prayer wheels in a slow, meditative rhythm. This site, dating back to the 5th century, has endured earthquakes and centuries of change, yet its aura remains unbroken. This place has survived devastating earthquakes and political upheavals, yet its soul remains untouched. At sunset, when golden light bathes the Kathmandu Valley and the monkeys finally quiet their chatter, you'll understand why locals call this Nepal's most magical intersection of earth and heaven. Here, the sacred and silly dance together in perfect harmony. Nine. Lumbini. What if you could stand exactly where enlightenment began? Not metaphorically, but literally at the precise spot where a prince became the Buddha and changed humanity forever. Lumbini holds that power. Here, beneath a sal tree, over 2,500 years ago, Queen Maya Devi gave birth to Siddhartha Gautama. Today, that sacred ground draws millions who seek something their busy lives cannot provide. The Maya Devi Temple marks the exact birthplace where an ancient pond reflects both sky and centuries of devotion. Prayer flags dance like colorful whispers, while monasteries from Thailand to Tibet create an extraordinary cultural mosaic, all united by one man's journey from palace to enlightenment. Walk through these gardens, and you'll feel it a stillness that seems to slow time itself. The contrast is striking. Pilgrims in modern clothes, kneeling where ancient history was made, smartphones capturing moments of timeless peace. Just beyond lies Tilarakot, ruins of the palace Siddhartha abandoned for his spiritual quest. Here, luxury met renunciation, comfort met truth. Lumbini doesn't just tell Buddhism's origin story, it lets you stand inside it. Kathmandu. Kathmandu is a city that overwhelms the senses and then wins your heart. Step into its streets, and you're met with a whirl of colors, incense drifting from shrines, the clang of bicycle bells and market stalls spilling with spices and silks. It is chaotic, yes, but beneath the chaos lies a pulse of timeless devotion. Once said to hold more temples than houses, the city remains a living tapestry of Hindu and Buddhist faiths. Durbar Square, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, reveals palaces and pagodas where kings once ruled, their carved struts and courtyards still echoing the grandeur of a medieval kingdom. High on a hill, Swayambhunath, the monkey temple, gazes over the valley, while Boudhanath's great stupa gathers pilgrims into its circle of peace. And then there is Tamil narrow lanes alive with music cafes and travelers swapping stories beneath lantern light. Kathmandu is not just Nepal's capital, it is its cultural soul, a place where the sacred and the everyday walk hand in hand, reminding you that beauty can be found in both stillness and commotion. Our journey through Nepal ends, but its echo lingers. This isn't a place that can be captured in a single photo, but a feeling you carry home. If this video inspired you to find your own journey, leave a comment below. And for more adventures, be sure to subscribe.